In today's video, we're going to talk about how to build emotional resilience. Are you a mom? Are you a leader? Are you someone who cares about the people that are in your world being resilient? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I'm a professional psychologist. My specialty is positivity, which I think is the core element of resilience. Let's spend a few minutes defining what resilience is and talking about some of the specific psychological tools that you can apply immediately to bring that about for yourself and the people that you lead. Does that sound good? Let's jump in. The first thought I have for you about resilience has to do with what it even is. What is resilience? Awareness of that is what puts you in a position to actually start to steer it in a positive direction. And most of the time we would define it as your ability to bounce back when hard things happen. That's fair. But I wonder if we should take a little closer look at the human soul, at who we are in our divine nature. Because I have this kind of strange theory that you already have dealt with everything so far, your whole life. Is that true? Resilience, I think, is more about our belief than our ability. In fact, I think our belief is what creates our ability. And a lot of people get trapped, get kind of stuck thinking, I can't handle this, which isn't even true. That's why I wanted to underscore your track record. You've got 100% track record for handling everything. So far, your whole life, you've handled it. Now, this is where your brain might get into a little argument with Dr. Paul today, where it's like, well, but I didn't handle it very well, or I'm not very proud of how I handled it. Okay, set that aside for a minute. I've got a tool for you about that. We'll come to that in a few minutes. Notice that even though you may not have been pleased with exactly how you did it, you handled it, didn't you? Now, why would that ever change? Dr. Susan Jeffers wrote a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. The title's even better than the book, but she made some really powerful points too. And one of the things that Dr. Jeffers said is that at the root, at the foundation, the bottom of every fear is one belief. And that belief is, I can't handle it. Hopefully we've debunked that because it's never been true. You've always handled it. And why would that ever change? How would you feel if you believed that you could handle anything? And really, with 3 decades now of clinical experience, you can't shock me. I have heard some of the darndest crap you can imagine. I could tell you stories all day long of what people have actually handled. And you can go listen to my podcast, Live on Purpose Radio, wherever you get your podcasts. Go listen. I've interviewed over 600 people on what it is that they've handled in their life. It's overwhelmingly supported by the evidence and by your own life experience that you can handle it. What if your belief were that? What would change about your resilience? What would change for your kids, for your team, for your community, if you could help spread that true belief that you've got a 100% track record, you can handle it. That's what resilience is all about. It's not necessarily bouncing back from. That's just the side effect of the belief that then drives the ability. I mentioned as we were introducing this topic that there's a model that helps us to shape and steer our beliefs. That model, I'm going to show you a visual of that model right here. This is a model that I've developed over 30 years of clinical experience to help people understand how to operate the equipment of their own mind. And I'll give you a copy of this. Let's put the URL on the screen, drpauljenkins.com/themodel. And I will put a PDF copy of this with a little quick description of what it's all about right into your inbox. You'll get a full color PDF of this. And that's my gift to you so that you'll have a solid psychological model that you can start to understand what's going on in the mind. What this model does for us is illuminates the obvious. Now, this is cool. Illuminating the obvious. There's a lot of things that are obvious that are unnoticed. Like the feeling of your shirt. Can you feel it? Now that I've called it to your attention, yeah, there it is. Notice that you can feel that, but you didn't necessarily notice it until it was called to your attention. So what I'm doing with the model, this is not to tell you how to think. This is simply to show you that you are, and when you become aware of the processes that are going on in your thinking, then you're in a position where you can steer it. Awareness precedes choice. When you understand how your thoughts create your emotions, and that's also known as the emotional energy that's generated through your thoughts, that energy determines how you show up. How you show up determines what your results are. And that becomes your new circumstances. And so there's this cycle where understanding how to operate the equipment is key to resilience. That is essential. And like I said earlier, it's all about your belief, not your ability. What you believe about your ability matters more than what your ability is, because apparently your ability is already up there. One final thought about this before I turn you loose today, and that has to do with the repetition. When I teach this model to my clients, or when I'm certifying coaches to use this model with their clients, one of the questions that comes up is, well, why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to stay positive when I know that it's important? I know how important that mindset is to resilience. And what comes back to my mind is an experience I had with my son. This is my second son, Adam, who's now a pilot. He's a captain for an airline back east. He took me, when he was a young adult, he took me on a trail in Hawaii. We went up the sheer ridge of a volcano on the island of Oahu, and it was steep metal stairs going up this ridge. And I have a little fear of heights. It took a little soul searching to get me up there. And I've got a picture that I took of Adam standing on the trail below me, and it looks like his back is right up against the stairs. It's more like a ladder, really, if you can picture this. And it gives me the heebie-jeebies just to look at it. Which direction are we going if we lose hold? Yeah. Down. That's why I have a fear of heights. I know which direction it goes. You never hear of someone falling up. When people ask me, why is it so hard to stay positive? I think it's because of that. It's gravity. Default is down. It's going to take some effort to get the elevation. And that was really clear on the Stairway to Heaven experience I had with my son, where we got to the top and there was this beautiful view overlooking Kaneohe and looking out toward Waikiki, and you could see forever up there. You don't get that view at the bottom. Elevation requires effort. Light requires power. That's a natural law. We shouldn't be surprised when we notice that it's hard. Yeah, that probably means we're on the right path because default is down. You can see that that's true on the Stairway to Heaven, but it's also true if you park your car on a hill and leave the brake off. Or if you stop doing your workout, your diet. What if you stop maintaining your relationship or your finances? Which direction does it go? Default is down. When it comes to building resilience, we get to practice and work on and apply effort and power and energy to the things that actually work. You're capable of far more than you believe you're capable of. So it's our belief that we get to work on. Capability is already there. The ability is already there. And it's been proven over the course of your life. Are you ready to take that up a notch? Start by getting that model. Do yourself a favor. Go pick it up. drpauljenkins.com/themodel. That is my gift to you. You don't pay anything for that. I'm going to put it in your inbox. And that will trigger some other brilliant ideas that you're going to have to take this thing forward. I hope that you find that helpful.